We hope it stays that way throughout training camp and into the season.
Coach, obviously you're going to look over the film, but can you give me some just initial thoughts on the offensive line play between run blocking and pass protection?
Yeah, I thought hopefully everybody's been doing this long enough to not take too much away from spring games. Very vanilla. I don't think the offense motioned across the ball, but once or twice the defense played cover 4 and cover 3. So you expect a little bit of kind of mush sometimes, because there's just not a whole lot of bells and whistles, and it's planned that way. I think one, obviously, you know that this game is going to be seen by a lot more eyeballs than a normal practice. But two, I think it's always good to just throw the guys out there and just play football. Like, you don't have to worry about this crazy blitz or this crazy motion or shift or anything. Just go play football. And we did that. You asked who stood out. I think it's pretty apparent our run game has gotten better. It's still the consistency I would like to see improve, but we definitely made chicken salad out of chicken what at times today. That was good to see, and they hit some home runs when it was blocked to hit home runs. And then something that I thought the offense more so than I thought the offense throughout spring ball has done a really good job of protecting the football. And today, the defense hadn't got a lot of turnovers over the last 14 practices. And for them to go out today and take the ball away a few times the way that they did, I thought that was a bright spot on that side of the ball too.
Coach, speaking of the defense, 3 interceptions and alongside a couple of takeaways, how do you feel about how the secondary performed, in defending against the pass?
Yeah, I think the secondary is playing great. I don't want to take anything away from them. The addition of Wendell, and injury update real quick. 2 guys went down, did not return. One, Wendell, being evaluated for head. He I would imagine at worst would be a concussion. And then Jordan Church went down there late with a left knee sprain. So we'll evaluate that a little bit more. But I would argue, yeah. So Wendell and Phillip, those 2 new guys, having Jay Will at safety, probably a little bit more natural position for him than nickel too. That's been really good to see. But that being said, they're playing really well. The front, unless you get pressure on the quarterback, you can cover really, really well, but you can't cover for 10 seconds. And the guys up front were really forcing the ball to get out of the quarterback's hand, which was good to see too.
Coach, like you said, spring game, there's not really too much to take away from it. Got a long off season ahead, but the portal's still open, and you don't even really know what the full roster's going to look like. Just as you're going through and you're making your depth chart, is there any concern about players hopping in before that?
Not as much. We've had some preemptive conversations with those guys that are important to us and that we don't want to leave, but may have their phone ringing a little bit, or their agent's phone ringing, if you will. And so we want to make sure, and I think Brian White and our president, Stacy Bolnick, has done a really good job of prioritizing the NIL and making sure that we can keep these really good players that we've recruited. They're our kind of guys. They belong here at FAU, and we're at the point where we're competitive now in that area that guys. It behooves them to stick around if they're a really good player for us. So yeah, I am worried. I'm always worried. You're never not, because they're still 18 to 22-year-old men and young men that surprise the heck out of me every day. But we're in a really good place as a team, and there'll be names going in the portal, but I don't anticipate any that we don't foresee and or aren't okay with.
As you mentioned in any spring game, you're being pretty vanilla. But I think the one thing, no matter how you split the team up, you want to see it be competitive and not be 40-7. Did you see a lot of that fight and competitiveness out of both?
Yeah, and then hats off to White, right, for making it and keeping it a game. You know, by all intents and purposes, that's our twos, and they played really well, I thought. You know, and not having Cam and Tyreek at quarterback, rotating in and out. They weren't really with a two quarterback, if you will, but. For them to make it, we've done spring games like that before, and you're right, it's been 40-7 because your one defense is going against your two offense, they can't move the ball, and your one offense going against the two defense, and it's like, through a 10, right? So it was really good to see. I think it probably speaks to, on some level, I haven't really parsed it down, but to some level, I would imagine that speaks to some quality depth too.
Coach, what did you think of the overall distribution of chances for the receivers to catch some passes? The overall balance for the receiving core, especially how kind of one-dimensional it was last year. How did you think it was much more?
It's okay to say that. It was by design one-dimensional. He was really good. Is really good.
Right, but what did you think of the overall distribution with the balance of chances?
Yeah, and that's probably what you're going to see. I think, even when Devin Duvernay, when we were at the place before, when he led the country in catches, he had Colin Johnson opposite him catching 75 balls. And so we didn't have that last year. And for a lot of different reasons, not just that position, but being able to get the ball there was a struggle at times. So I don't know that we're going to have a guy lead the country in catches again. 2 of the last 3 years, I've been a head coach. We have, but that's okay. It means we've got a lot of depth and a lot of quality depth too. There's not a cliff, so to speak, and so that's good and bad. Would we love a superstar in that room? Who's to say one won't emerge? But the fact that we got 6 to 8 guys that we feel really good about, I think is a real positive too.
Coach, when talking to receivers,
I love your mustache.
Last one, by the way.
Appreciate that. What's the process been like of incorporating Milan Tucker into the offense this spring, and just what did you think of his performance today?
He's really good, and he's really good with the ball in his hand. The question was about Milan Tucker. Well, I'm glad we have him. He's dynamic. He can make you miss. Him and Hayes, I think, they're a little bit smaller than, or shorter, I should say. They're both put together maybe a little bit better than in previous years. But that's kind of more of what that position has been for us. I mentioned Devin Duvernay. He was a running back type body. I'm not saying Hayes and Milan are running back bodies, but they're put together a little bit more. They can bounce better. They can bounce off with some arm tackles and whatnot. So your question originally was about Milan. I'm glad we have him. We anticipate him. What you saw today, him kind of factoring into the offense that way in the fall. So yeah, and then what you didn't see was his return skills too. So that's a bonus too.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Before you head out, I wanted to introduce you to Nick. Nick is
Hi, Nick.
the center.
This is awkward.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if
He's
you
the center.
the red-white competition, you feel it was like a very competitive game?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it just shows how much depth we have on the team because of how competitive it was. Because realistically, it was the ones was all on the red team and the twos and the threes spread around on the white team, and it showed how much depth we got and how good a team we can be.
You had a pick. We saw Antonio get 2 picks. Is that the best day he's ever had at FAU?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is. But I tell Antonio a lot, if he continue having the confidence, if we continue to instill the confidence and he play with his confidence, Antonio can be one of the best players on the field, and I really mean that.
What did you think of the number of takeaways that the defense managed to get throughout the day?
We was out there roaming, sir. I really enjoyed playing out there today because, like Herman said, in practice, we haven't been getting as many takeaways as we wanted. And Coach Rock instilled in us 3 takeaways a game, 3 takeaways a game, and that's what we did today. We got 3 of them.
2 of your interceptions were with a minute left in the first half. Was that kind of emphasized by Coach Rock? A little point of emphasis to get those takeaways in critical moments?
Oh yeah, always at the end of the half, end of the game, when we need them turnovers, he always telling Brady on the mic, make sure them guys punching at the ball, make sure we attacking the ball. So yeah, Coach Rock big on that, and he's big on that.
Coach Herman was saying that you guys are really bought in. He's been doing this. He quoted that he's been doing this a long time, and that he really likes how bought in this team is. So just as a player and one of the leaders on the defense, can you talk about from your point of view how bought in you guys are?
I think we are really bought in, and it starts like in the off season, building like the bond with the teammates, like building that bond, going out bowling, hanging out with the teammates to build that chemistry and like express to the guys like how good we know we can be. So I feel like the bond we got as a team is starting to grow. The trust we're building in the coaches. Because last year, I'll be honest, like the trust wasn't as there as we wanted to be. But like this year, we talked as a DB group how we was gonna start trusting the coaches more and like letting them guide us to success because that's their job and that's what they're great at. So yeah, I feel like we're starting to trust more, and that's what brings the bond and like the chemistry and all that together.
Do you guys have a favorite hangout spot? You mentioned bowling. I'm assuming you guys go to the beach often.
Beach, pool party today. Let me see full house. Yeah. Pool party. I would do a lot of stuff: bowling, the pool, the beach. Sometimes we just go to our teammates' crib and just watch film, like different stuff like that. Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Thank y'all, man.
Who has the best bowl game?
Bowling, Jay Will.
Touchdown today, but you've been making plays all spring. How do you feel you've kind of broken out this spring or gotten the attention of the coaches?
I feel like I always had it in me, but with a 1,000-yard receiver, LaJonte being here, I feel like that just overshadowed who I was and what I can do. So with him going, I feel like I can express how good I actually am and show everybody what I can do.
Are you happy with the way you performed this spring up to your own expectations?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And did anything, aside from LaJonte leaving, did anything else kind of point toward your improvement or point as a reason to your improvement?
No, not really.
Omari, what did you think of the overall distribution of chances that the receivers were able to get in trying to get passes from their quarterbacks?
I feel like we distributed the ball well. I feel like everybody got targets. I don't know how many everybody got, but from looking at it, I felt like the ball got spread around evenly, and everybody got opportunities to make a play.
A lot of your plays were within the short game. Do you think that's part of your repertoire, something you do well, making people miss?
I can do anything, but that's my strong suit. Yeah, making somebody miss. Yeah.
Or that connection and cohesiveness that you have with quarterbacks. Just how has that really progressed and built throughout the spring?
Every Monday and Wednesday we are at the turf running routes, catching. So that's just getting better every week. We got summer, so we just gonna build on what you're seeing out there. Just build on that.
I know spring ball just ended, but are you anxious for September just to show what you can do? I mean, playing time's been kind of sporadic or not very much at all.
Yeah.
The first couple of years here. Are you kind of anxious to get September here and show what you can do in games?
Yeah, I'm ready, but I don't want to look ahead because last year I ended up getting hurt in fall camp, so I don't want to look ahead. I'm just stay level-headed and just take it day by day.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry if this is like long-winded. Appreciate you taking it. There's no QB1 yet. Depth chart still has to get moved around. What's the process like of working on your chemistry when you don't know who the quarterback's going to be to start week 1?
That's when we go out to the field, both of the quarterbacks out there. So you're getting catches from both quarterbacks. So it doesn't really matter who is where. You're getting catches from both quarterbacks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Omari.
What about the game today and what helped the White power back?
Well, we had a lot of depth, which is nice. Quarterbacks rotated, so that helps. It was a lot of fun. So it was fun to be out there and just get to play football in front of your family and friends and all that.
It's always nice. I know it's really a practice. It's a glorified practice, but is it always nice to get into the end zone, no matter what the situation or what the venue?
Yes, sir. As a tight end, especially like in my role, you don't get those chances, too many times. So, when you get thrown a ball in the end zone, you got to come down with it, and it's always fun. Even if it's in practice, it doesn't happen a whole lot. So, anytime, I'm very grateful for that.
Just follow up on that, it's nice to catch touchdown passes, but there's got to be some pride in the run blocking. When Coach was in here, we were talking about, it's spring, but it's nice to see how the run game's progressing. Just what are your thoughts on how the blocking is and, that part of the offense?
Well, there's always stuff to work on, but I saw a lot of potential. We saw CJ break a long run. I think all the tight ends blocked really well, which, I see that all the time. That's kind of what I'm focusing on. But the running backs, I also think all of them look really good. They all showed a lot of different things, catching the ball, running, hitting the holes, making us look good in terms of reading our blocks. So that was good to see.
A lot of talent in that tight end room between yourself, Khalil, and Elijah. How do you guys help each other out, considering there's only one starting position? Well, there's two, but
we do a lot of 12 and 21 personnel stuff, but we're all very close, including Wyatt and
Wyatt too,
yeah. He played really well today too. But we're all really close. I want to venture to say closest room on the team, and that starts with our coaches, Coach Luke and Coach Lunsford. They really help us out. We do something called Real is Rare, or that we talk about something unrelated to football, but it always touches back on football, and that helps us come together and then develop each other's game at the same time.
Speaking about your tight end room, there's a lot of different body types, a lot of different skill sets. How do you guys help each other, get better at different areas that maybe one person's better than another?
Well, when we're out there, we're always listening to coach, and when he gives us feedback, we're learning from other people's mistakes, not just our own. But then also off season, I try to help guys run game blocking, and then Khalil and Wyatt, they have a lot of stuff that helps us, in the pass game where I would never think to, maybe it's a stutter step or fake or give eyes, little stuff like that, and that all adds up to the end result.
Obviously, you guys want to turn around what happened last year. Do you feel that this spring the team has taken steps, or there's a feel that you absolutely will turn things in the right direction?
100%. I know a lot of people have touched on the culture, and that's 100% how I feel too. It feels a lot different. Everyone's a lot closer in the locker room than on the field. The trust is there. A lot of other little things are just coming together because of the chemistry we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zeke.
Before you came here as a coach, wanted to make sure that they had a quarterback for the wide receivers and wide receivers for the quarterback, and today the ball was distributed pretty well. Can you just talk about that receiving room and your work this spring to get to know them?
I feel like daily our trust is growing. Just trying to grow that trust and that chemistry with those guys. So just taking it one day at a time. Just trying to build it daily.
Yeah, were there any specifics that you and the receivers have done on a daily basis that has really progressed and built that trust?
Just communicating after plays, telling them what I see, what they see as well. Staying after, getting that work, and then there's a time piece to it as well. So just trying to grow every day.
And would you say today was, there probably were some practice days this spring where the passing game was as productive, but in a full scrimmage of the three of them, would you say today was the best day for the passing game of the three scrimmages?
I would say there was some highs and lows with it. Some good contested plays that the defense and offense was just competing. I feel like the receivers and the DBs, they were battling and making it hard. I just feel like there was a good battle between the two.
How would you characterize your progress this spring now that it's done, 15 practices in the books?
I'd just say I try to take it day by day and grow each day. Not trying to look too far ahead or what I've done, because at the end of the day, it's spring ball. Our end goal is to win a conference championship and do those things in the seasons. But just trying to take steps every day forward. Never going backwards is my mindset.
Cam, not only your receivers, but your running backs were able to make a lot of plays today, a lot of chunk gains. How nice is it just to have weapons all over the offense?
It feels good, when you have those guys up front working for you, to make special things happen in the backfield. And with the explosive running backs that we have, they can take a 5-yard run into an 80-yard run. So, it feels good to just be able to hand the ball off and let them work.
Cam, what are your thoughts on how well the defense was able to defend each of your passes throughout
Oh
the
yeah,
day?
the defense was flying around today. I feel like the offense and defense were battling throughout the whole day. So it was good to see. It was good to see that.
In such a tight QB face-off right now, what is it like seeing, man, he's having a great one, and then, man, I'm having a good one too. What is that like trying to keep your competitive edge, but also supporting your guy?
As a room, we just work as one. So when we see one guy have success, we're having the same joy that he's having. And the whole offense. So we don't look at it like that. We work as one and want to help each other out as much as we can.
Anyone else? All right, thank you much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Cam.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Yep.